she said, just one day as a girl. Now it's been a year, woman dipping hand, mantelpiece clock. My name is Alex Harper, and I was never supposed to be her. I had a plan. Keep my head down, blend in, live simply. I wasn't chasing greatness. I was chasing safety. I worked as a junior accountant at a decent firm downtown, clocked in, handled balance sheets, and clocked out. The people around me? They were content seeing me as a quiet, average guy. Polite. Predictable. Invisible. That was fine with me. Or so I thought. Because beneath my tidy spreadsheets and pressed button-downs was a truth I'd buried for years. A truth I could never say out loud. A truth that whispered to me when I was alone. You're not who they think you are. It started when I was 10. My older sister left her closet open, and I remember seeing her homecoming dress, a long lavender gown with sequins across the top. It shimmered like starlight. I reached out, barely touching it, heart pounding like I'd just stolen something sacred. From that moment on, the curiosity never left.
I didn't have the words for it back then.
I didn't think of myself as different. But the feeling was there, burning quietly beneath my skin, only growing stronger with time. I never told anyone. Not my parents. Not my friends. I dated girls, laughed at their jokes, went to football games. But I kept the other part of me hidden behind locked doors, sometimes literally, as I stood in front of the mirror in borrowed clothes, barely recognizing the person staring back at me. That all changed when I met Emma. Emma was brilliant and bold, someone who seemed like she'd leapt straight out of a romance novel and into my painfully ordinary life. She was a graphic designer who wore bright lipstick, oversized sunglasses, and once dyed her hair silver blue just because she was bored. She was fire. I was fog. We met at a mutual friend's art show. She was complaining about the lack of good wine, and I made some awkward comment about finance bros ruining gallery spaces. She laughed, and somehow, just like that, she chose me. Dating Emma was like being caught in a beautiful storm. She had 1,000 stories, a million outfits, and zero patience for small talk. She challenged everything about me, my routines, my fears, the neat little structure I had built to survive. She loved loud music, breakfast for dinner, and long arguments about books she'd never finish reading. Living with her was even more intense. Her side of the apartment was chaos. Colors, textures, lipsticks, wigs. Yes, she wore wigs for fun. Corsets from costume parties, knee-high boots she'd wear while doing laundry. My side was grayscale and painfully quiet. She never pressured me to change. But being around her made it hard to ignore the parts of me I had buried. Sometimes when she was out, I'd sneak into her closet. Not to take anything. Just to feel near that other world, the one I wasn't allowed to enter. Until one night I did. She was at a bachelorette party. I'd had a couple glasses of wine, and something in me snapped. I walked into the bedroom and opened her wardrobe. My hands trembled as I picked out a soft red wrap dress. I ran my fingers across the silky material and slipped it on. Then the heels. Then makeup, badly done, but thrilling. I stood in front of the mirror, breathless. I didn't recognize myself, but I didn't want to take it off. The next day, I told myself it was a one-time thing. But then I did it again.
And again.
It became a ritual. A sacred, terrifying indulgence. I lived two lives. The man I showed the world, and the secret self I only let out when Emma was gone. But secrets are fragile things. One night, we were watching a silly rom-com where the lead guy wakes up as a woman. Emma was curled against me, laughing. Then, out of nowhere, she said, "You know, I bet you'd make a beautiful girl." I almost dropped my drink. What? I tried to laugh it off. "I'm serious," she said, twirling a strand of her hair. "You've got soft features. Kind eyes. If I put you in makeup, gave you the right outfit, you'd kill it." My throat went dry. "That's random." She raised an eyebrow. "Come on. Just one day. Let me give you the full treatment. Hair, makeup, clothes. We won't go outside. Just you and me." I should have said no. Every alarm in my head went off. What if she suspected something? What if she was testing me? But her eyes weren't mocking. They were curious.
kind.
And something inside me ached. So I said the words that changed everything. Okay, just one day. We planned it for the following Saturday. She called it Transformation Day, like it was some kind of spa retreat. She was giddy, pulling out outfits, matching accessories, testing lipstick shades on the back of her hand. I pretended to be nervous, but the truth was, I hadn't felt this excited or this scared in years. I told myself it was just a game, but deep down I knew better. Because the moment I sat in front of her mirror, wearing one of her robes, with my hair pinned back and my skin freshly shaved, I wasn't pretending anymore. I was becoming. Saturday arrived faster than I expected. I woke up to the smell of pancakes and lavender-scented candles. Emma was already up, humming some tune I didn't recognize, flipping breakfast in the kitchen while wearing one of her oversized hoodies and those fuzzy socks with pom-poms. She looked cozy, casual, unbothered. I, on the other hand, felt like my insides were tangled in knots. "Morning, beautiful," she teased, sliding a mug of coffee my way. "You ready for your big debut?" I smiled weakly and nodded, though the truth was, I wasn't ready at all. After breakfast, Emma led me into the bedroom with theatrical flair. "All right, Mr. Harper. Today you are no longer Mr. Anything. Today you're my project, my canvas." She laid everything out on the bed like we were prepping for a heist: makeup palettes, eyeshadow brushes, foundation, a pair of new tights, a matching bra and panty set, a long, wavy auburn wig, and the red wrap dress I had secretly tried on just a few weeks earlier. My pulse quickened just seeing it again. "Let's start with grooming," she said, holding up a pink disposable razor and a can of shaving foam. "Off with the fuzz." I laughed nervously. "Wait, seriously?" Emma tilted her head. "You said you were in. Trust me, you'll like the results." So I went along with it. I stood in the bathroom, razor in hand, and looked at myself in the mirror. There was something almost spiritual about the process, removing hair from my chest, arms, legs. My skin felt raw afterward, but smooth, foreign, feminine. When I stepped back into the bedroom wearing only a towel, Emma let out a low whistle.
"Damn.
"Look at you." I blushed, but inside a strange pride flickered. She applied moisturizer to my legs and arms, then began with the makeup. Her hands were gentle, but precise. She narrated every step like she was hosting a beauty vlog. Primer to help the foundation stick. Concealer for those sleepy accountant bags. And now a contour. Say goodbye to Mr. Square Jaw. She was having fun. I could feel it. But for me, it wasn't just play. As she applied foundation and eyeliner, shaped my brows, and carefully glued on false lashes, I watched myself disappear. And for once, I didn't mind. Then came the moment I hadn't anticipated. Lipstick. She held up two options. Classic red or soft rose? I hesitated.
"Red," she said.
"You've got the attitude for it." She traced the outline of my lips with a steady hand, filling them in with a bold, velvet red hue. Then she stepped back and handed me the mirror. My breath caught. I didn't look like Alex Harper anymore. I didn't even look like a joke. I looked real.
Soft.
Striking. "Who is she?" I whispered. Emma beamed. "That, my love, is what I'm dying to find out." I changed into the lingerie and dress with her help. She adjusted the wig, clipped it in place, and fluffed it until it looked like it belonged to me. Then she stepped back and looked at me like an artist admiring her work. "You are stunning." And I believed her. But I also felt vulnerable, terrified. My body was doing something strange, excitement and anxiety crashing together like opposing waves. Emma could sense it. "Hey," she said gently. "If you want to stop, we stop. This is just for fun. You're safe here." I nodded.
"No.
I want this. I didn't think I'd feel this much." She took my hand. "Then feel it. Let yourself enjoy it." We spent the next few hours lounging in the apartment. She painted my nails a soft pink, and we watched one of her favorite reality shows while eating noodles out of takeout containers. She even had me walk across the apartment in heels, stumbling at first but quickly adjusting. Not bad for a beginner, she laughed. Is this how you feel all the time? I asked her suddenly. When you're dressed like this? She tilted her head. Like what? Confident. Beautiful. Powerful. Emma thought for a moment. Sometimes. But most of the time it's just me. I don't think about it. I looked down at my painted nails. I can't stop thinking about it. That's because it means something to you, she said. More than just a game. And she was right. It wasn't just about clothes. It wasn't just makeup or a wig. It was about the way I felt when I looked in the mirror and saw someone closer to the person I was inside. We ended the night slow dancing in the living room, the lights dimmed, some soft indie track playing in the background. Her arms wrapped around my waist, mine around her shoulders. I've never seen you so at ease, she said softly. I've never been so at ease, I replied. And for that one night I let go. I didn't worry about what it meant. I didn't panic about labels or the future. I let myself exist as her. Not Alex. Not the accountant. Just me. The next morning should have been the end. I woke up expecting Emma to laugh, call me her pretty boy, and hand me my regular clothes. I expected awkwardness. Maybe regret. But instead, she greeted me with a soft smile and coffee in bed. How's the hangover, gorgeous? I blinked. What? She chuckled. From your transformation high. You were glowing last night. My cheeks flushed. I wasn't sure what surprised me more, her casual tone, or the fact that I was still glowing. I hadn't even taken off the wig. Somehow, I had fallen asleep in full makeup and curls, wrapped in her silk robe like I belonged in it. I'll clean up, I said quickly, reaching for a makeup wipe. Emma stopped me. Actually, would you mind staying like this? Just for a little longer? I froze. You really liked it, didn't you? She asked. I hesitated. I don't know what I liked. I just felt free. She studied me for a second. Then don't rush to erase it. And just like that, day 1 turned into day 2. We didn't go outside. She said it was a low-pressure Sunday, which meant movies, face masks, and matching pajamas. Only, she insisted, I wear the pink set she usually saved for girls' nights, satin with little strawberry prints. She even braided my wig, sliding 2 pink clips into the bangs. When I caught my reflection in the hallway mirror, I felt something strange bloom in my chest. It wasn't just freedom. It was recognition. I knew this girl. She had been trapped inside me for years. By Wednesday, everything changed. I had returned to my job as Alex, gray slacks, navy shirt, dull tie. But something felt wrong. Like I was wearing someone else's skin. The keyboard felt cold beneath my fingers. My voice on Zoom calls sounded hollow. At home, I found myself drifting toward Emma's side of the closet more often. Just brushing my fingers across fabrics gave me goosebumps. One evening, when Emma went to the gym, I slipped into a black skirt and one of her cardigans. Nothing dramatic, just a soft outfit. Comfort clothes. I wasn't trying to sneak. But I wasn't trying to get caught either. Except, I forgot the mirror. I stood in front of it longer than I meant to, admiring how the skirt swayed, how the cardigan hugged my frame. I didn't hear the door unlock. Didn't hear Emma's footsteps. Hey, babe, the gym was... I froze. She froze. We stared at each other, me and her skirt, 1 foot halfway into a ballet flat, makeup half applied.
Caught.
I expected yelling. Instead, she walked closer.
Slowly.
You did this on your own? My voice was barely a whisper. I didn't mean to, well, I just wanted to feel that way again. Her expression softened. That way. I nodded. Like myself. Emma didn't say anything at first. She just looked at me, really looked at me. Then she reached out, fixed a strand of the wig that had slipped, and smiled. Then stop pretending it's not real. I blinked.
What?
This isn't just dress up for you, she said. Is it? I opened my mouth.
Closed it.
She took my hands. I'm not mad, Alex. Or whoever you are right now. I just want to understand. What does this mean for you? For us? That question echoed in my head all night. What did it mean? Was I a crossdresser? Was this gender dysphoria? Was I just curious? Or had I stumbled into a part of me that had been buried too long to ignore? There were no easy answers. But one thing was clear, I didn't want to stop. Over the next few weeks, our dynamic shifted. Emma started helping me dress after work. She gave me a drawer of my own, my pretty drawer, she called it, filled with clothes that suited me better than hers did. Leggings, cute tops, cotton bras that actually fit. She asked me to choose a name. I don't want to call you Alex when you look like this, she said. It's not who I'm seeing. We tried a few names, Samantha, Lily, Bella, before I finally settled on one that made my heart skip. Alyssa. She smiled. Alyssa it is. Being Alyssa felt like slipping into sunlight after years in the dark. But with that light came shadows. One night, Emma invited her best friend, Nina, over for drinks. I panicked. I can't be like this around her. Emma raised an eyebrow. Why not? You look beautiful. Confident. She doesn't know. Nobody knows. Emma paused, then stepped closer. You don't have to be out to everyone. But if this is really you, Alyssa, you can't keep hiding forever. The truth was, I wasn't hiding from Nina. I was hiding from myself. The longer I lived as Alyssa, the harder it was to go back. My male clothes started to feel like a disguise. My old life like a faded photograph I could barely relate to. And Emma noticed. She didn't say it out loud, but her eyes lingered longer. Her voice got softer. Her laughter felt more distant. I think part of her was proud. She was the one who unlocked this part of me, after all. But another part of her was afraid.
So was I.
Because one day as a girl had turned into 2, then 3, then a month. Now it was becoming permanent. And I hadn't even begun to understand what that meant. There's a moment, when you're in too deep, where turning back doesn't feel like an option. For me, that moment came 3 months in. Alyssa wasn't a character anymore. She was the only version of myself that felt honest. Emma had started using the name more and more, even when I wasn't dressed. She said it just made sense now. At first, I welcomed it. Then I noticed something shift in her tone, like she was trying to convince herself as much as me. I wasn't stupid. I knew I was changing. My walk had softened. I'd begun shaving daily, without thinking about it. I wore clear nail polish to work. I kept lip balm with a pink tin in my bag and had stopped reacting when people glanced too long on the subway. But the scariest part? I liked the attention. The more I lived as Alyssa, the more natural it felt. It wasn't performance anymore. It was reflex. I could switch from button-up shirts to crop tops like breathing. And when I looked in the mirror, I finally liked what I saw, which made what happened next even more terrifying. It was a Friday evening. I had just gotten home from work. Emma was running late, so I used the time to change. Not just into something casual, but into her, Alyssa. I wanted to unwind, be myself, slip into the soft comfort of identity without guilt. I put on a wine-colored knit dress, sheer black tights, and the ankle boots Emma had gotten me as a joke last month. I even tried contouring again slightly better than last time. I was halfway through curling my wig when the front door clicked open. I turned, expecting Emma. Instead, it was her mom. Hey, honey. Emma forgot. She stopped dead in the doorway. My stomach dropped. I froze.
So, did she?
We stared at each other. The silence louder than any scream. I didn't look like Alex. I didn't even look like someone playing dress up. I looked like a woman. A woman caught in someone else's apartment. I think I have the wrong, she stammered. Before I could speak, Emma rushed in behind her. Mom, wait. Emma looked from her mother to me, saw the full picture. The tights, the makeup, the nameplate necklace she'd given me that read Alyssa. She stepped forward. Mom, it's okay. This is Alex. Her mom blinked. I'm sorry, what? Emma glanced at me, waiting. And I couldn't. I ran into the bedroom and locked the door. Later, Emma knocked. Can I come in? I didn't answer, but she came in anyway. She sat on the edge of the bed, quiet. She thought you were my friend, she said softly. She doesn't know how to talk about stuff like this. She shouldn't have had to talk about it, I mumbled. I wasn't supposed to be seen. Emma sighed. You can't hide forever. I wasn't hiding. I was living in private. Same thing. That stung. I looked away, fighting the lump in my throat. Do you regret this? She paused.
No.
But I'm scared. That made two of us. I feel like I'm losing Alex, she admitted. And I didn't have the heart to tell her. I was losing him too. After that, things changed between us. Not drastically.
Just little things.
She stopped correcting people when they misgendered me in public. She'd suggest I tone it down if we were going out. And when I was Alyssa around the house, she'd sometimes call me Rumi instead of babe. It was subtle, but it crushed me. One night, while brushing my hair in the mirror, I asked her the question I'd been dreading. Do you still love me? She didn't answer right away. Finally, she said, I love you, but I don't know who you are anymore. That hurt more than anything else, because for the first time in my life, I knew exactly who I was, and the person I loved wasn't sure she could love her. Then came the dinner. Emma's coworkers invited us out, a casual, artsy place with low lighting and live jazz. Emma told them she'd bring her partner, but didn't clarify beyond that. I hesitated the entire afternoon. Should I go as Alex? Blend in? Wear the mask? Or should I show up as Alyssa? Emma watched me dress in silence. I chose a green wrap dress, modest, stylish, not too loud. I straightened the wig, kept makeup neutral. You look beautiful, she said finally. But her voice was flat. Dinner went surprisingly well. Her co-workers were polite, maybe a little curious, but nobody said anything rude. One of them even asked where I got my earrings. I laughed and said online, and Emma squeezed my hand under the table. For a second, it felt like us again. But on the way home, she broke the silence. I didn't hate it, she said. Didn't hate what?
You. Tonight.
As her. The words hit me like cold water. I turned away. You don't have to say it like that, I whispered. Say what? As her. Like I'm a costume. I didn't mean it like that. I faced her, voice trembling. Then how did you mean it? She didn't answer. And that silence told me everything. It was supposed to be temporary. A week, maybe two. A month, tops. Now, I had drawers full of skirts, shelves lined with perfume bottles, a separate section in the closet labeled Alyssa. The scariest part? I didn't even remember when I crossed that line. I just woke up one morning, and Alex felt like a name from a past life. But the world wasn't ready for Alyssa. Especially not my office. Monday mornings were always chaotic. Emails, deadlines, bad coffee. But this one came with an added twist. Our department had a new HR coordinator. And she was thorough. You haven't updated your photo, she smiled, pointing to my ID badge. I glanced down. Alex stared back at me. Square jaw, tired eyes, zero trace of Alyssa. I mumbled something about needing to retake it. She nodded and moved on, but I could feel her eyes lingering. That was the start. At home, things weren't better. Emma had started spending more nights out. Just with friends, she said. Unwinding. But when she came home, she wouldn't mention where she'd been or who she was with. And she didn't notice the changes in me anymore. Not the subtle curve of my hips from waist training. Not the soft pink gloss I'd started wearing even in boy mode. Not even the way I cried quietly after she rolled away from me in bed. That Friday, I made a decision. I took a sick day from work and dressed early, full Alyssa. This time, I wasn't hiding. I needed to feel seen.
Alive.
I went to a coffee shop across town, where nobody would recognize me. A small table by the window. A cinnamon latte. A book I'd pretended to read. It was peaceful until I heard my name. Not Alex. Not Alyssa. Hey, man, Alex. I looked up and froze. It was Kevin. From work. My manager. In jeans, off-duty, holding 2 lattes.
He squinted at me.
Wait, do I know you? I opened my mouth but nothing came out. My hands clenched the table. I could feel the sweat under my wig, the panic tightening in my throat. Sorry, I whispered, pitching my voice higher. Don't think so. He smiled awkwardly. My bad. You just look like someone I know. He walked away. I didn't move for 5 whole minutes. Just sat there, hands trembling, staring at my reflection in the window. For a moment, it felt like the glass would shatter, and the illusion along with it. I packed up and left. Emma was home early. She sat on the couch, scrolling through her phone. She didn't look up when I entered. "You wore the black skirt today," she said. I froze. "Yeah. I saw your photo." "What photo?" She turned the screen toward me. It was grainy, snapped through a cafe window, but it was unmistakably me. Curled hair, painted lips, sipping coffee in a tight skirt. Posted on some local gossip account. Spotted. This queen serving serious confidence downtown woman dipping hand. Anyone know who she is? Thousands of likes. My heart stopped. "I didn't post it," I said quickly. "I didn't know anyone saw me." "I know," Emma said flatly. I sat down beside her. "Are you mad?" She didn't answer right away. "I'm not mad," she said finally. "I'm scared." "Of what?" "Of you disappearing." I looked at her, really looked at her. The girl who once dared me to wear a dress for a day. The one who helped me put on my first pair of lashes, laughing while gluing them to my eyelids. Now she looked like a stranger. "I'm still here," I whispered. She met my eyes. "Are you?" That night, I couldn't sleep. I stared at the ceiling, wondering if this had all gone too far. I tried to imagine going back to Alex.
Putting on the mask.
Cutting my hair. Dropping the voice. It felt like death. But if I stayed Alyssa, I might lose Emma. And the scariest part? I wasn't sure which loss would hurt more. The phone rang just after midnight. I was still awake, staring at the glow of the ceiling fan shadows flickering across my room. Dressed in a soft camisole and shorts, I'd been trying to convince myself I wasn't waiting up for Emma. I answered without thinking. "Hello." "Alex." The voice chilled me. It was my manager.
"Kevin."
I sat up. "Hey, Kevin? I know this is strange, but I saw something online." Silence. My blood ran cold. "I think someone's impersonating you," he continued. "There's a photo going around. A girl who looks a lot like you." I forced a chuckle. "Really? That's weird." He lowered his voice. "Are you in trouble, Alex?" I couldn't breathe. "No," I lied. "I'm fine." But I wasn't. Not even close. I hung up, heart racing, pulse pounding in my ears. The illusion was cracking, and I didn't know how much longer I could hold it together. Emma came home an hour later. Not drunk. Not smiling. Just quiet. I stood in the hallway in a pink robe, waiting.
She didn't look surprised.
"Did you see the post again?" she asked. I nodded. Kevin saw it too. Her eyes filled with something, guilt, fear, maybe even pity. She walked past me and sat on the bed, burying her face in her hands. "I didn't mean for this to happen," she whispered. "What?" "This was supposed to be fun. A silly experiment. A dare." She looked up at me, tears lining her eyes. "But then you started changing. Not just clothes, not just makeup. You were happy. And I..."
"What?"
I whispered. "I wasn't ready to lose you." I sat beside her, quietly. "You didn't lose me," I said. She looked at me again. "Then who are you?" My lips trembled. "I don't know anymore." We didn't sleep that night. We lay side by side, backs touching, not speaking.
By morning, she had packed a bag.
"I need time," she said. "To think. To breathe." I didn't argue. I didn't cry. I just watched her walk out the door, my reflection in the mirror watching me back. Half-dressed. Half undone. Half someone I didn't recognize. Half someone I finally did. The next week was hell. Kevin called again, twice. Then HR. Then IT. There were whispers at work.
Stares.
One coworker left a note at my desk that said, "Be who you are." Another posted a meme with my photo under Catfish Queen. I stopped going in. I stopped dressing as Alex. I became Alyssa full-time. Because even if the world hated her, I didn't. 10 days later, Emma's sister showed up at my door. Lana. Sharp jaw, sharper eyes. She held out a small box. "She wanted you to have this." Inside was the lipstick Emma first put on me. The one from the dare. Still half-used. Still a bold, fierce red. She said maybe it was always meant for you. I felt the tears before I could fight them. Is she okay? I asked. Lana shrugged. She's trying. She still loves you, you know. I nodded, lips trembling. She just doesn't know who to love anymore. A week later, Kevin called again. But this time, it wasn't a warning. It was an invitation. We're doing a diversity initiative, he said cautiously. About identity, transition, acceptance. Would you want to speak? I nearly dropped the phone. You're asking me? I said. You're brave, he said simply. And people know. You could help someone else. I looked in the mirror. In my soft sweater. My painted nails. My nameplate that read Alyssa. Yes, I said. I'll do it. The night of the event, I wore a simple black dress and flats. Nothing flashy. But I still felt like I was glowing. I stood at the mic, hands shaking, room filled with curious faces, some kind, some skeptical, all watching. My name is Alyssa, I began. I was dared to be a girl for one day. That was a year ago, and I haven't stopped since.
Gasps.
Laughter. Somewhere near the back, I saw a flash of blonde.
Emma.
She was standing with her arms crossed, unreadable. I kept going. I thought this was pretend. A game. A performance. But sometimes, the mask you wear reveals the face underneath. I didn't lose myself when I became her. I found her, and I think she's who I was always meant to be. The applause was deafening, but I only looked at her.
Emma.
She didn't clap. She didn't move. She just watched. Then she walked out.
And I broke.
I got home that night and collapsed on the floor, dress still on, makeup smudging. I'd finally said it. Out loud. I was Alyssa. But at what cost? No Emma. No job. No guarantee that the world would be kind. And yet, I didn't regret a thing. Because for the first time, I wasn't pretending. I wasn't hiding. I wasn't scared of who I was. I was just scared of being alone. 2 weeks later, a letter arrived. In Emma's handwriting. No return address. Just 3 words on the back. For Alyssa. Inside. I saw you on stage. You were beautiful. And honest. I don't know if I can love Alyssa the same way I loved Alex. But I know she deserves love. And I'm proud of her. Always.
Emma.
It's been 1 year. Since that dare. Since that silly little line. Just one day as a girl.
And now, that girl is me.
And I wouldn't trade her for anything. I still don't know what the future holds. Emma hasn't come back.
My job is different.
My life is different. But my reflection? It finally smiles back. 3 days after the speech, the video hit 500,000 views. Someone from the event had posted a short clip, me in that black dress, declaring proudly, I thought this was pretend. But sometimes, the mask you wear reveals the face underneath. The internet did what it always does. Some praised me. Others tore me apart. Slay Queen. Is this real? Another attention seeker. I stopped checking the comments. But I couldn't stop the phone calls. Reporters. Activists. Even a documentary filmmaker emailed me. They wanted Alyssa. The world was listening, but Emma still wasn't calling. Kevin texted. HR wants to talk to you again. Please come in. Don't worry, it's not bad.
But I worried anyway.
I wore my safest outfit, a beige blouse, tailored pants, minimal makeup. Just enough to feel like me without setting off alarms. When I entered the boardroom, the HR director, the head of DI, and Kevin were already seated. Thank you for coming, Alyssa, the HR director said. That name. On their lips. It still felt surreal. She pushed a paper across the table. This is an offer, she said. I blinked. An offer? We want to make your role permanent in the DEI mentorship team. Part-time to start. Public speaking. Workshops. Training. I froze. But I'm just an analyst. You were. But now, you're a symbol. A symbol. Of visibility. Of transformation. Of danger, too. Some employees aren't happy, Kevin admitted. But most are inspired. I looked at the paper. A new title, a new role, a new name. Alyssa Daniels. And for once, it wasn't about hiding. It was about stepping into the light. Later that week, Lana messaged me. Emma's going to be at the art walk Friday night. She didn't tell me to say anything, but I thought you should know. I stared at the message. I hadn't seen Emma since the night she walked out of my speech. What would I even say?
Hi.
I'm still me, just wearing better lipstick. Still, I couldn't stay away. Downtown buzzed with lights, booths, music. I walked slowly past exhibits, keeping my eyes peeled. Then I saw her. Hair pulled back, long beige coat, hands tucked into her pockets. She stood by a portrait of a woman in silhouette, staring at it like it held a secret. I approached.
Emma.
She turned. Her breath hitched, but she didn't run. Hi, she said quietly. I gave her a soft smile. You look good. You look different. Still me. I know. She looked down.
I saw the full video, she said.
I nodded. I cried, she admitted. My heart ached. I thought if I just gave you space, you'd come back. To who? She shrugged.
To me.
I stepped closer. I never left you. I just found myself. She looked up, eyes wet. I loved Alex. I hesitated. Could you ever love Alyssa? She opened her mouth, but closed it. And that was my answer. I left the art walk early, heart heavier than before. I walked home in silence, trying to convince myself I hadn't expected more. When I reached my building, a familiar voice called out, Alyssa. I turned. It was Kevin, panting, sweating. What are you doing here? He caught his breath. There's a problem. What kind of problem? He held up his phone. Someone from the company leaked your old ID, your mail ID, along with your legal name. It's on message boards, forums. My mouth went dry. Are you serious? They're calling you a fraud, saying you faked your transition for clout. The world tilted. After all the fear, the hiding, the courage, now this? I grabbed the phone, scrolled. There it was. My old name, my photo.
My past. Exposed.
I locked myself in my apartment for 2 days. Didn't eat. Didn't shower. Didn't open the blinds. I had risked everything, my relationship, my job, my safety. And the world still wanted to tear me down. Emma didn't call. Kevin texted again. We're handling it. You don't have to fight alone. But that wasn't true.
No one could live my fight but me.
I stared at my vanity mirror. Lashes beside scattered brushes. Lipsticks. Foundation. The red lipstick Emma had dared me to wear a year ago. I picked it up. My hand trembled, but I didn't put it down. I painted my lips slowly, deliberately. Then I whispered to the mirror, You can't erase me now. On Monday, I returned to work. Not as Alex. Not hidden. Not afraid. I walked in wearing a dark burgundy dress, tall black boots, and the fiercest eyeliner I'd ever dared. People stared. Whispers echoed. But no one said a word. Until Kevin stepped out of the elevator and saw me. He smiled. You're late, he teased. I was choosing courage, I replied. He nodded. You chose well. Monday started quiet, but by noon, all hell broke loose. A right-wing podcast host had picked up the viral clip. He labeled me a corporate plant, a crossdressing fake trying to groom workplaces. His thumbnail? My image, paused mid-speech, eyes wide like I'd been caught in headlights. Overnight, hate poured in. Go back to being a man. You're mentally sick. This is what happens when you let freaks work in offices. My inbox overflowed. So did my DMs. Even my building manager asked me not to hang around the front lobbies so much. And yet, through the filth, there were still sparks of hope. Messages like, I saw you on Instagram. I cried. Thank you. Because of you, I wore a dress for the first time today. But the hate was louder, crueler, and it was about to get worse. I hadn't heard from her since the art walk. Then one evening, 5 days after the podcast storm, she showed up at my door. No knock, just a text. I'm outside. When I opened the door, She stepped in without a word.
She looked exhausted.
Her hair was messy, her eyes swollen, but her voice was sharp.
I got a call, she said.
From a friend. Someone sent them a link. With your name, your photo, all of it. My heart thudded. I didn't leak it. She held up her hand. I didn't say you did. She paced my living room, arms crossed. What I am saying is, this is out of control. I swallowed. I know. Do you? Her voice rose. You stood on a stage in heels and declared you'd found your truth, and the whole world's watching now. I didn't ask for the world, I said quietly. I just asked for space. She laughed bitterly. And now everyone's calling me the transphobe ex-girlfriend. That stung. She kept going. You say you're still the same person, but everything has changed. You used to care what I thought. Now, it's like you live for the attention. That cut deeper than any tweet. I didn't do this for attention, Emma, I said, holding back tears. I did it because hiding was killing me. We stood in silence. Finally, she shook her head. I don't hate Alyssa, but I miss Alex. And I don't know how to love someone I can't recognize anymore. She turned to leave.
At the door, she paused.
I hope this is really who you are, because the world's going to keep testing you. Then she was gone. That night, I sat in front of my vanity again. Everything felt broken. My relationship, my career, my safety, even my name. I stared at my reflection.
Who was I, really?
Was Alyssa still me, or had I become someone else entirely? Then my eyes fell on the photo tucked into the corner of the mirror. It was me and Emma, taken a year ago on a lazy Sunday morning. I was shirtless, unshaven. She was curled beside me, laughing mid-sip of coffee. It looked like a different lifetime. And maybe it was. I gently took the photo down and set it aside. Then I reached for the lipstick. Not red this time, but violet.
Soft.
Confident. Unapologetic. I applied it slowly, watching my hands steady with each stroke. Then I whispered, no more masks. No more middle. I opened my laptop. I hit record. The next morning, the video was everywhere. Alyssa, in a soft lilac blouse, long curls brushed over one shoulder. Speaking directly to the camera. To the world. My name is Alyssa. A year ago, I agreed to try living as a girl for just one day. I never switched back. And not because someone forced me. Not because I was pretending. But because for the first time in my life, I felt real. I paused the video. That pause, the still frame of my face, eyes firm, was being shared everywhere. By strangers.
By activists.
Even celebrities. But I wasn't watching the likes. I was watching the numbers outside my door. The threats. The messages. The risk. And still, I breathed easier. For the first time, I wasn't running from anything. The final twist came 2 days later. There was a knock at the door. When I opened it, a woman stood there.
Tall. Blonde.
Crisp business suit. She introduced herself. Hi, I'm Jenna Carlisle. I run a media production company. I raised an eyebrow. She handed me a card. We're creating a docuseries called Becoming. Stories of real transformation, struggle, identity. We want to feature you. I hesitated. A camera crew? More eyes? More exposure? She smiled gently. We're not asking you to perform. We're asking you to be. 2 days after the video went viral, I found the note. It wasn't online. It wasn't digital. It was taped to my door. Freaks get cut. The letters were in red Sharpie. Crooked. Angry. Bleeding onto the paper. My stomach dropped. This was no longer just trolls behind a keyboard. Someone knew where I lived. I stood frozen. The chill running through my spine. The hallway was silent. Too silent. I pulled the note down with trembling hands. Was this my punishment for stepping into the light? I didn't sleep that night. I kept the hallway lights on. Sat in the living room in a robe, clutching my phone, every sound outside making me jump. And the next morning, I made a decision. By noon, I was packing. Only essentials. The rest?
Didn't matter.
Makeup kits.
Wigs.
heels,
Bras.
leggings, all shoved into 2 duffel bags. I didn't tell anyone where I was going, not even Emma. I booked an extended stay hotel room downtown, using a friend's name. No forwarding address. Just disappeared. As I locked the apartment for the last time, I glanced at the mirror on the hallway wall. No makeup. Just my face.
Tired. Worn.
But unmistakably mine. Alyssa. And she was still standing. The next day, Jenna Carlisle called again. She wasn't asking anymore. CNN wants to do a live interview with you, she said, excitement in her voice. They want Alyssa. Prime time. I almost dropped my phone. Are you serious?
She laughed.
Your videos passed 3 million views. You've become a symbol. Everyone's talking about you. Trans rights, self-expression, identity. You are the story. I hesitated. Live TV? The entire world watching? No edits. No filters. No safety net. What if I freeze? I whispered. What if you don't? Jenna replied. I stared out the hotel window, down at the city pulsing with life. Maybe it was time the world saw me, really saw me. 2 days later, I was in the green room of CNN headquarters, wearing a pale pink blouse, my curls tucked behind one ear. Simple makeup. Nervous smile. The anchor smiled as she welcomed me. Today we're speaking with Alyssa Gray, whose viral journey from a one-day cross-dressing dare to a full transformation has taken the internet by storm. The lights went up. The camera rolled. I spoke softly but clearly. About identity. About hiding. About Emma. About fear. About freedom. The anchor nodded until she asked the question I wasn't ready for. If you could go back to that first day, would you still put on the dress? I froze. Suddenly the lights felt too hot. The room spun. My breathing quickened. A year's worth of emotions crashed over me in a wave. I blinked, fought for words, then said,
Yes.
Because for the first time in my life, I didn't feel like a lie. The interview ended. Tears in my eyes. Applause behind the cameras. Jenna hugged me. You did it. My phone buzzed. I ignored it at first, then glanced down.
Emma.
I hesitated, then picked up. Her voice was soft. I watched. Silence. I didn't know you were hurting that much. More silence. I miss you. And then, words I hadn't expected. Do you want company tonight? That night, I stood in the bathroom of my hotel. Tears streaming down my cheeks. Half my makeup smeared. Lipstick on my hand. I stared at my reflection. Not as a symbol. Not as a cause. But as a girl. Scared. Raw. Real. I reached up and tore the wig off. Then grabbed the lipstick. And wrote 3 words on the mirror. I am enough. Then I collapsed to the floor, crying. Ugly sobs, body shaking. For everything I had lost. And everything I had become. The next morning, Jenna texted. Call me ASAP. Big news. When I answered, she was breathless. You're not going to believe this. Try me. Netflix. They want to develop a limited series. About you. About Alyssa. About your year. I sat down slowly. Me? You'll have script approval. Creative input. They want it to be raw.
Real.
Inspirational. But only if you're in. I was silent. Could I relive it? Turn pain into a show? Turn trauma into art? My heart pounded. Then came the twist. One thing though, Jenna said. They're asking if you'd go back. Revisit Alex. For contrast. Dramatic arc. I froze. Return to the old clothes? The old voice? The lie? Could I? Would I? And just like that, we're primed for. The Netflix offer sat in my inbox. Unread. I couldn't bring myself to open it. It was everything I thought I wanted. Everything I should want. But all I could think about was one line from Jenna's call. They're asking if you'd go back. Revisit Alex. For contrast. Go back. Put on his clothes? Speak in his voice. Erase Alyssa, even for one scene? Could I? Or worse, would I? I stood before the full-length mirror in my hotel room. One side of the closet held soft pastel dresses, curled wigs, strappy heels, delicate perfume. The other side? What was left of him? Wrinkled jeans, button-up shirts, the scent of old cologne clinging like guilt. I held one of his shirts up to my chest. It felt dead in my hands. Like fabric stolen from a ghost, I barely remembered. I glanced at myself in the mirror. My face, shaped by a year of freedom and pain, truth and performance.
I didn't see Alex.
Not even a trace. I saw Alyssa. Tired, bruised, but still standing. A knock at the door. I froze. Another knock.
Soft.
Familiar. I walked over slowly. Opened it. And there she was.
Emma.
Wearing my favorite hoodie, the one she'd stolen months ago when we broke up. Her eyes were misty. "Hi," she said quietly. "Hi." Neither of us moved. Then she took a deep breath. I couldn't stop thinking about the interview. And that night. You looked like you. My throat tightened. I was. Silence. Then she stepped closer. "I'm sorry," she said. "I made it seem like it was a joke. Like you were just playing dress up. But I see it now. I see you." Tears welled in my eyes. I wanted to collapse into her arms. But the pain between us was still fresh. I looked away. "They want me to play Alex again. For the show." She flinched. "You said you'd never go back." I said a lot of things. Silence again. And then she reached into her purse. Pulled out a compact mirror, mine. I hadn't even realized I'd left it. "You dropped this. That day in the cafe." She held it out. I didn't take it. I just stared at my reflection inside it. Not flawless. Not perfect. But undeniably me. "I'm scared," I whispered. Emma nodded. So was I. That night, I sat by the hotel window, looking down at the glowing city. Somewhere out there, millions of people had seen my face. Some loved me. Some hated me. Some thought I was brave. Others thought I was confused. And maybe I was. But I also knew this. I couldn't lie anymore. Not to them. Not to Emma. Not to myself. I opened the laptop. Clicked the Netflix email. Read the entire offer. It was generous. Professional. Respectful. Except for that one request. The pilot episode must include a before and after contrast. Alex must appear at least once. My hands hovered over the keyboard. The cursor blinked. I typed slowly. Deliberately. "Thank you for the opportunity. But if you want my story, Alex isn't part of it anymore. There is no contrast. There is only Alyssa." I hit send. Then shut the laptop. My heart raced. But I'd never felt more sure. The next morning, my phone rang. It was Jenna. "I saw your reply," she said, voice unreadable. I braced for disappointment. Instead, she laughed. "Netflix just called back. They said your response was exactly what they needed. They've agreed. The story stays yours." My breath caught. They're green-lighting it? Not just that. They want you as a co-producer. I blinked. Co-producer? My name on the credits? Me running the story? Tears filled my eyes. A year ago, I was hiding in my apartment, too scared to even put on a bra without closing the blinds.
Now?
I was the author of my own narrative. No filters. No disguises. Just me. I placed the compact mirror back on the dresser. Emma stood behind me, wrapping her arms gently around my waist. "I always liked this look," she whispered. "I never want to be anyone else again." I whispered back. She smiled in the mirror. "Good. Because you're beautiful." And for the first time, I believed it. The screen fades to black. Then slowly fades back in. A text message buzzes on Alyssa's phone. She picks it up. Reads it silently. Her smile fades. We don't see the screen. Just her eyes. Wide with shock. The phone drops from her hand. She stumbles backward, breathing hard.